I want to start with a story. When I was young, and I'm talking young, my mother bought me a Commodore 64 computer. Now, for those of you who know what a Commodore 64 is, you already know where this is going. For those of you who don't, just know that in our neighborhood, at that time, having a computer in the house was not a small thing. My mother made a sacrifice. She believed in what that machine could do for me. And she was right. That computer set off the path to everything I've done in technology. 30 years in this industry. Meta, BET, Radio 1, Global Grind, the White House, it all traces back to that machine sitting on a table in our home. But here's what happened when I first got it. I started to explore, started to play, started to figure out what it could do. And very quickly, I hit a wall because I didn't have a floppy drive. At that time, a floppy drive was the only way to add new programs or save your data. Without it, the Commodore 64 could do some things, but not the things that actually mattered. I couldn't build on it. I couldn't save my progress. Every session started from scratch. I thought I had everything I needed. I didn't. And nobody had told me clearly what was missing, because the marketing didn't make that part clear. I want you to hold on to that story, because what happened to me with that computer in the 1980s, it's happening to millions of people with AI right now. They feel like they have everything they need. They're using the tool, they're watching the demos, they're copying the prompts, and then they hit a wall, and nobody told them why. My name is Navarrow Wright. I unlock AI, so you don't have to. And this is the presentation I wish someone had given me a long time ago, because the AI divide is real, and it's not growing because people aren't smart enough. It's growing because the map they've been given is wrong. Let's talk about it. Look at these two numbers. 88% of U.S. enterprises are already using AI in at least one function. McKinsey, 2025. Almost every major company in this country has AI plugged into something. Now look at the other number. 28.3% of the U.S. population actually uses AI tools. The numbers don't lie. The companies are fully in. But the people those companies employ, the communities those companies are supposed to serve, are largely still on the outside. And here's what makes that dangerous. The gap between enterprise AI adoption and public AI literacy is the widest of any major economy in the world. The companies moved, the curriculum never followed. That's not a technology problem. That's an education problem. And the data is going to keep making that case for the next few slides, so stay with me. The numbers don't lie. So let me give you more of them. 33 million Americans have no desktop or laptop at home. That's not a rounding error. That's the U.S. Census Bureau. 15 million Americans have no digital device at all. No phone, no tablet, nothing. 3 in 5 employees are not currently using AI at work. Google and Ipsos, 2026. And this one I come back to every time. Only 1% of organizations have achieved what McKinsey defines as true AI maturity. 1%. Every AI influencer is talking about what that 1% is doing. And the other 99% is watching, trying to figure out how to apply advice built for a completely different situation. These aren't edge cases. These are the people AI marketing doesn't reach. These are the people AI influencers don't talk to. And these are exactly the people I built this movement for. Here's what most AI content creators will never tell you. The tools getting the most media coverage, the demos on YouTube, the workflows being sold in courses were built for a setup most people don't have, multi-device setups, high bandwidth connections. A desktop or laptop is the baseline, and sometimes a second device just to stay productive while the AI finishes running. That's the assumed user. That's who the tools were built for. Now look at who's actually in the room. 15 to 20% of lower income households are smartphone only. 1 in 5 adults over 65 own no computer. Shared devices, library access, inconsistent internet. The tool and the user are mismatched. And nobody's stopping to make that correction. We had a name for this when I was growing up, but we'll call it politely, a recommendation without context. When I was a kid, I knew a guy who figured out you could scratch a soda can top on the curb and use it in a payphone to make free calls. Genius, right? Total innovation. But that trick only worked on certain payphones in certain years in certain cities. If you took that solution somewhere else, it didn't work. And nobody told you why. Same thing is happening right now. The prompt that works for someone on a $3,000 desktop setup doesn't automatically transfer to someone on a phone with shared Wi-Fi. And the influencer selling you the prompt isn't stopping to ask about your setup. When someone on a phone watches a desktop AI tutorial, They're not learning something they can apply. They're watching a highlight reel from a life they don't currently live. And when it doesn't work for them, and it won't, they don't think that advice was wrong for my setup. They think, I must not be doing this right. I must not be technical enough. AI must just not be for me. That's the damage. That's where people stop. The income gap in AI usage between high and low earners across OECD countries, 21 points. The age gap between the youngest and oldest adults, 53.6 points. The global north versus the global south. The north grew twice as fast in adoption over the same period. The divide isn't closing, it's widening. Every single quarter, and if you've been in a room where someone told you that AI is the great equalizer, these numbers are what I'd hand them in response. The numbers don't lie. You're not behind. You're being misled. This didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen on purpose. But it happened. November 2022, ChatGPT launches. Any device, anyone. March 2023, GPT-4 and plugins. Desktop recommended. July 2023, Claude 2. Any device. December 2023, Gemini. Mobile friendly. May 2025, Claude Cowork. Desktop required. You see the direction. The entry point was open to everyone. But as the tools became more powerful, more capable, more impressive, the hardware requirements crept up. And nobody sent a notification to the people on phones that said, heads up, this next chapter wasn't built for your setup. The wall didn't get built on purpose, but it got built. And the people on the other side of it, they're still watching the demo, still trying to copy the prompt, still wondering why it isn't working. Claude Code, Cowork, and local AI agents require hardware that 33 million plus Americans don't own. The map was wrong before they ever started walking. The question has never been whether AI is powerful. We all agree it's powerful. The question is, powerful for who? Now I need you to pay close attention to this slide, because this is the data nobody talks about. And it's the data that changes the entire narrative. 66% of Hispanic adults are already using large language model AI tools, the highest adoption rate of any demographic group in the country. Elon University, January 2025. 57% of Black adults are LLM users, higher than white adults. 47% of white adults are LLM users. Sit with that for a second. The communities the AI influencer economy has largely ignored, they are the most enthusiastic adopters. This is not a story about communities falling behind. This is a story about communities showing up, ready, willing, and actively engaging, and not getting the right foundation in return. I think about the guys I grew up with. The one who figured out the cable box before the cable companies did. The one who reverse engineered the payphone. The ingenuity was always there. The creativity was always there. The problem was never the people. The problem was that the innovation was never mapped to the opportunity. It was always a workaround instead of a foundation. That's the pattern. And it's happening again right now with AI. The appetite is there, the guidance is not. The communities most eager to adopt AI are getting the least foundation on how to use it right. That gap, that depth gap, is where the real divide lives. Here's what's actually happening versus what should be happening. People are using AI, but they're using it in search engine mode, typing questions instead of giving instructions, copying prompts from TikTok and Reddit, prompts that are brittle, prompts that only work in the exact context they were written for and fall apart the moment anything changes. No platform context, no understanding of why it works, no foundation to fall back on. The innovation is real, but it's untethered. It's a workaround, not a workflow. What it should look like, you know which platform matches your device. You understand why a prompt works or fails, not just that it did or didn't. You have transferable skills, not borrowed ones. A foundation that works on any platform. A clear sequential path with real ROI at every step. The appetite is there, the foundation is missing. And I want to be direct with you. That's an education problem, not a talent problem, never a talent problem. Let me give you the 5 reasons this keeps happening. Because it's not random. It's structural. 1, the algorithm rewards complexity theater. Views go to Claude Code demos and agentic workflows, not to here's how to write a better prompt. The content ecosystem is optimized for impressiveness, not literacy. Complexity gets clicks. Fundamentals don't go viral. 2, platform loyalty over platform fit. Influencers recommend what they use, not what fits your device. A 4-computer setup doesn't translate to a phone-only user, but the recommendation comes out the same. 3. Sponsored content without full disclosure. More than 40% of influencer collaborations are under scrutiny for misleading claims. The platform deal shapes the recommendation, and the audience doesn't always know that. 4. No device context in recommendations. The same advice, use this tool, copy this prompt, goes to phone-only users and multi-computer power users. Zero acknowledgement that these are two completely different situations. 5. The foundations never go viral. Research shows people learn by doing, but most AI users are stuck in observation mode, watching demos, copying what they see, building nothing on their own. I want to say this again clearly. None of this is the audience's fault. It is a systemic failure in how AI education has been structured and incentivized, and it's correctable if the right people start teaching the right things in the right sequence. I'm not asking you to take my word for any of this. The research is there. The OECD, January 2026, more than 1 in 3 people use generative AI in 2025, but uptake is sharply uneven. A 53-point age gap, a 21-point income gap, a 21-point education gap. This is structural, not a matter of willingness. McKinsey and Capital B News, if AI growth continues at its current pace, the wealth gap between black and white households could widen by $43 billion annually over the next 2 decades. $43 billion annually, driven by disparities in who AI actually serves. IDC and Google, skill shortages may cost the global economy $5.5 trillion by 2026. Only 1 in 3 employees received any AI training in the past year. The people best positioned to benefit from AI are the people least likely to receive training on it. The numbers are consistent. The pattern is the same across every data source. The divide is structural, it is documented, and it does not close itself, but it can be taught out of. That's why we're here. Now let me tell you what's actually on the table. Workers with AI skills now earn 56% more than those without, up from a 25% premium just 1 year ago, and is still climbing. Demand for AI fluency grew 7 times in 2 years, from 1 million to 7 million jobs. Prompt engineering job postings grew 135% in a single year. Context engineering roles in the U.S. are paying between $143,000 and $206,000 annually. This is not a future conversation. This is not something to get around to. This is right now. The premium is being paid today. The gap is widening today. The community is being steered away from AI foundations, being handed the wrong map, being sent to the wrong tools without the right context, are the communities who stand to gain the most from getting this right. The opportunity is enormous, and it belongs to whoever builds the foundation first. The communities most willing to adopt AI are being handed the wrong map. That's not a technology problem. That's an education problem. Every influencer has a favorite AI tool. None of them ask about yours. Here's what they say. This is the best AI tool, period. You need to be using this platform. Here's the exact prompt that works. Just copy this and you're set. Here's what they don't say. What device are you on? Does this tool work from a phone? Is there a foundation you need before you touch this? Am I being compensated to say this to you? A recommendation without device context isn't advice. It's an advertisement dressed up as advice. And the difference matters. Because if you take the wrong recommendation into the wrong setup, you'll spend months copying things that don't work, and you'll think the problem is you. The problem is not you. The problem is the map. 4 words. This is the question that should come before any AI recommendation. Phone only? Your best fit is Gemini, paired with ChatGPT. Both are fully mobile native. Gemini's Google integration works entirely on a phone. ChatGPT's voice mode removes keyboard friction. No local setup required. Tablet? Gemini handles file management across Google Drive. ChatGPT's Canvas gives you document editing on a larger touchscreen. One computer? Claude. Claude's projects and artifact system delivers full value on a single machine. You don't need a multi-device setup to get serious work done. Multi-device? Now you have the setup to run all 3 in combination. Claude for deep work, ChatGPT agent mode for web tasks and automation. Gemini for the Google ecosystem. The right platform is the one that runs on the device you actually own, not the one your favorite influencer uses, not the one with the best demo. Yours. These 3 tools get lumped together constantly. They're not the same thing. Claude is strongest at deep reasoning, long documents, and systematic workflows. Projects and artifacts give you persistent context and reusable outputs. If your work requires precision, consistency, and thinking over time, Claude is your tool, fully mobile. Cowork requires desktop. ChatGPT, specifically GPT 5.5, is the most versatile. Creation, coding, web research, broad capability. Agent mode automates browser tasks. Voice mode works on mobile. If you want one tool that can handle almost anything, this is it. Gemini is the best mobile AI of the three. And if your life runs on Google, Gmail, Drive, Docs, Calendar, Gemini is the most integrated tool you can use. Personal intelligence means it works with your actual data. Now here's the sentence I want you to take out of this room. The platform matters less than the foundation you build on it. Master the fundamentals, then choose your tool. Look at this pyramid. At the top, Claude Code, Agent Mode, MCP connectors. Cowork, the advanced, powerful features that make the best demos, and that arrow pointing to where most people are being sent. Straight to the top. Skip the foundation, jump in, figure it out on the way up. Here's what the Commodore 64 taught me and what this pyramid is showing you. Skipping to the top doesn't put you ahead. It puts you on an unstable structure with nothing underneath to hold your weight. The first three steps, chat mastery, projects, and persistent memory, artifacts, and output creation. Those three steps deliver 90% of daily AI value for any user on any platform, not the agentic workflows, not the code runners, not the tools that require a 4-device setup, the foundation. That's where 90% of the value lives, and that's where I teach. Walk it, don't run it. The ones who skip steps are the ones who fall. Here's the Claude pathway. In order, every step intentional, every step building the next. Step 1, chat. You learn how Claude thinks. You stop typing questions. You start giving instructions. Context shapes everything. Step 2, projects. Claude becomes a dedicated tool for your specific needs. No more starting every session from zero. Claude knows your context. Step 3, artifacts. Your outputs become assets, documents, structured content, tools you can use beyond the conversation. These 3 gold. Master these first. This is where the 90% lives. Step 4, cowork. Desktop automation. Claude working on your files while you think. But notice, you need steps 1 through 3 to direct it. Without that foundation, you're flying blind in a powerful machine. Step 5, plugins, pre-built specialist bundles. Install and go. Step 6, MCP and connectors. Claude connects to your CRM, your calendar, your email, your APIs. Step 7, skills. Build reusable workflows. Deploy what you built. Stop rebuilding from scratch. The sequence is the strategy. Don't skip steps. Now here's what most people miss. The same logic applies to ChatGPT. Different names, exact same sequence. Chat first, GPT 5.5 core. Learn to instruct, not ask. Custom instructions next. Persistent rules that shape every conversation. Projects and memory. Group work by context. ChatGPT remembers you. Canvas, collaborative writing, and code editing workspace. Custom GPTs. Specialized assistants built once, deployed anywhere. Agent mode. Browser automation and computer use. The power tool. And finally, deep research and codex. Autonomous research and agentic coding. Different tool, same shape. The first 3 steps are still where you start, every time. No exceptions. Gemini follows the same pattern. Chat foundation. Gemini 3 core. Mobile first, voice ready. Custom instructions. Persistent rules every session. Gems, custom assistants built once. Deployed for specific roles. Notebook LM. Upload your sources. Build a grounded knowledge base that actually knows your material. Google Workspace integration and personal intelligence. This is where Gemini reads your actual life, your Gmail, your Drive, your calendar, Canvas, and deep research. And at the top, Deep Research Max and Agent Builder for enterprise-level agentic workflows. 3 platforms, 3 sets of labels, 1 sequence. Start at the foundation. Earn the advanced tools. The path is the same everywhere. 5 things transfer across every platform. Master these once, and you are ahead of 65 to 75% of the people who think they know what they're doing. 1, role, context, constraint, format. The anatomy of every effective prompt on Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini. Learn this structure once. It works everywhere. 2, Persistent memory changes everything. Projects, custom instructions, gems, different labels, same unlock. Stop restarting every session. Make AI know who you are and what you're building. 3. Outputs as assets, not just answers. The moment your AI work becomes a document, a deliverable, something you can use and share and build on, that's the unlock. 4. Connection beats isolation. The platforms that connect to your real tools, your calendar, your CRM, your files, that's where the compound value lives. 5. Foundation knowledge is career insurance. Every new tool Anthropic, OpenAI, or Google ships will reward people who understand the fundamentals. Shortcut knowledge is version specific. Foundation knowledge transfers to everything. Mastering each step makes you more dangerous at the next one, not less. Want to leave you with a reframe before we close. 66% Hispanic adoption rate. The appetite is already there, and it's leading. 57% Black adult usage, higher than white adults. This community is not behind. It is being underserved. Those are two very different problems. 56% wage premium for AI skills. Here's what I need you to hear clearly. If you are learning the fundamentals in sequence right now, you are not behind. You are ahead of the majority of people who think they know what they're doing. Because copy-pasted prompts are brittle, they work in the exact context they were built for. When the tool updates, when the task changes, when the context shifts, they fall apart. And the person who only knows the shortcut has nothing to fall back on. But the person who understands the foundation, they adapt, they rebuild, they stay ahead, not because of the tool, but because of what they know. You're not behind, you've been misled, and that stops today. I want to give you something you can use immediately. A filter, a framework. The next time an influencer, a colleague, a trainer, anyone tells you should use this AI tool, before you take that recommendation, you now have the questions. What device do you have? What's your current AI level? What problem are you actually trying to solve? Do you live in Google Workspace or Microsoft? Are you phone only, or do you have a computer? These are the questions that should come before any recommendation, because a recommendation that doesn't start with your setup isn't really a recommendation for you. It's someone sharing their preference and hoping it fits your situation. You have the questions now. Use them. And if someone gives you a recommendation that starts with their favorite tool instead of your setup, you'll know exactly what that is. This is why I built Unlock by AI. The mission: help 1 million people unlock the income, freedom, and opportunities that AI can provide across personal lives, careers, and businesses, starting with the foundation. Not a course, a community. Sequential, foundational, platform agnostic. Built specifically for the audience that AI education has been leaving behind. The method: the ABCs of AI, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and whatever comes next, one step at a time in order. Every lesson works on mobile, tablet, or desktop. Every step builds the one before it. You never get handed a tool without the context to use it. Here's the proof I want to leave you with. Foundation knowledge transfers to every new feature Anthropic, OpenAI, or Google ever ships. Shortcut knowledge is version specific. The person who builds the foundation adapts faster to every update, not slower. If you're ready to dig deeper, the community is there. Come work with us directly. Walk the steps with people who are finding their light bulb moments every day. At minimum, follow the journey. Stay connected. The updates are coming. Subscribe to the Unlock newsletter. Walk the steps, don't run them. The ones who skip are the ones who fall. The ones who stay, they're the ones who build. Now go build something. You don't have to figure this out alone. One step, every day, forward. I'm Navarrow Wright, and I unlock AI so you don't have to. Walk the steps, don't run them. God bless.